So all our goals are team-based because we all want to win together. So it's not what's mine is mine, what's yours is yours. It's all, this is all ours, so to speak, if I can use that. So I set it from the outset and make sure, okay, that's what we want to achieve. This is the framework of how Fit Clinic operates. Now you go and be a responsible adult making executive decisions within that framework and go. And it's worked so far so well. And we're still moving forward and growing.
Welcome to Phys with me, Aaron King, a podcast for exercise physiologists and health professionals wanting to grow and scale in business.
I think it's important to develop a culture right from the start. So, what you want the culture to look like, how you want to go about it, even if you don't have a team yet, and how to maintain it once you do. I think they're the important steps when you're looking at developing a culture, what you want for your business and how you want it to look, how you want people to act, and all of those types of things. So, here's a bit of an insight into how I developed the culture of Fit Clinic and what I'm doing moving forward. Now, obviously, you need to develop your own culture, and it might be similar, it might be different, but you just need to consider how you want it to look from the outset and build it from there. Now, when I was a one man show, I still thought, okay, what do I want it to look like? And then started the attributes that I thought were important moving forward so that as we grew into multiple people, larger location, our own location, it was still consistent from the outset. Now I was looking at like, what do I want for the community? Because I wasn't looking at a team culture just yet from the get go because I didn't have a team, even though I thought I know what I want it to look like, but I didn't have the opportunity to implement it immediately. So I looked at, okay, what culture for the community do I want to look like for clients? Now I thought, well, I want to provide a safe space for them that they can discuss anything they want in private and feel comfortable, supported. So, how do I need to act towards them? I need to make sure that I listen. All of these things are going to sound obvious, but sometimes as a professional, you think, okay, I really know what the client needs. And then you project what you think they need onto them without listening first. And it's a hard conversation to have, and it's hard to sometimes shut up. So I think that's the important thing is make sure you truly listen and understand what they want out of it, not what you want for them. But looking at, okay, as your community for your clients, what else do you want for them? You want to provide a space that's safe for them, that they feel included, that they feel part of the community. Like everybody says, oh, I've got the best community. Everybody says it and it's pretty cliched, but you want to feel that way that you provide the best community for yourself anyway. So that's good. But you want the opportunity to think, okay, when the client's coming in, they want to be safe, they want to be secure, they want to feel comfortable, regardless what their health condition is, what they're coming in for, that they feel included, supported, and listened to. So making sure that I acted appropriately to ensure that happened was what I did from the outset. And obviously it's what the team do now. I personally don't run that many face-to-face sessions myself anymore. Obviously there's a lot of moving parts to a business, whether it be marketing, development, looking after the team, looking after the clients, obviously family at home as well. All of these things are important. So I rely and trust the team to carry out the task actions and the client stuff as well, because my focus has gone elsewhere. It's not to say that my focus isn't there as well, but obviously you've only got 24 hours in the day. So you're just trying to do what's best suited. So trust the team to run their things and they trust me to just run them and support them and provide them with a safe and secure environment that'll be ongoing and successful because we're all working together. So providing an opportunity for the clients to feel like they could hang out and could stay, whether you want to make that an actual thing, it's totally up to you. Now, you obviously don't want clients taking up all your time ongoing because you've got stuff to do. So you want to sort of find the right balance, but you want to give them the idea that they could if they wanted to, so they would feel comfortable hanging out in your space. So whether that actually, like I said, took place is not the part of the story. It's whether they feel like they could. So that's what I wanted for the clients. And then I looked at, as I was developing a team, like what kind of culture do I want as a team? Because at the end of the day, if you look after your team, they'll look after the clients. Now, I'm not a proponent on customer always comes first because sometimes they're not correct. But I think about like looking after the team and supporting them, and they'll by default support the customers in or clients or members or patients, whatever you want to call them for yourself and whatever you do call them, they'll support them in the best way moving forward because they're ticking one of the boxes around security and comfort and environment and culture for them, and they'll act accordingly. So you need to lead from example as the owner, as the business manager, as a manager, whatever role you take on. So then I thought, okay, what kind of culture do I want for the team? Well, I obviously want them to look after the clients as I would and I did. And I thought I want a team first attitude and approach. So we developed standards, I guess you would say, to allow that to take place. Now, if you're looking at some facilities, some practices, some personal training studios, some EP studios, they'll look at, okay, what their productivity is. And there's a level of productivity and billable hours that are important because you need to keep the doors open at the end of the day. So that's something that I do need to keep in mind in the background and just make sure that I manage that to not overdo it or not underdo it. Because if you're underdoing it, then obviously you can't afford the staff that you have on, and that's not going to be successful, and you can't keep the doors open. So they don't need to necessarily know that, billable hours and focus on their client retention and things like that, because they shouldn't focus on that. They need to focus on, are they doing the best thing for the client? Now, from a business point of view, well, we have clients that we retain because their service is more general, personalized training from an exercise physiologist. So it's ongoing, like they would get from a facility. But then you've got our other ones, which are more clinical intake, treat, discharge. So there's both aspects that we see. And that's just from a business point of view, what I decided to do from the outset, because I think it's important to have an element of both. And that's even part of the culture, is making sure that the ones that want to stay because they've got general needs and they just want, like, instead of going to a personal trainer, they would see an exercise physiologist. And they're the ones that they want to remain ongoing in the community, in the group, and you've got group sessions or whatever it may be. It's more of a general training that they might get from a gym, but from an EP. So that's fine. But then the ones that you're meant to be intake, treat, discharge, then you're doing that appropriately without overdoing it or doing it. You're giving them what they need and making sure it's appropriate moving forward. So as I was developing the team, I thinking, okay, what attributes do I want them to have? And I've always gone with the hire on attitude, train on skill. Like, could we be friends out of this? You obviously want to have a team that sort of pick up your slack or are strong in the areas that you're not strong at. Because obviously you can't have everyone with the same type of personality and the same attributes and the same strengths and the same weaknesses. You just need a balance so that you can, as a team, you can work together. So hire on attitude, train on skill was what I thought first, because at the end of the day, if someone's hardworking, working well, they're a team player, then they're the ones that are going to do the best. And that's what has worked for us. And we hired everyone based on network rather than the traditional channels. So that was the first part of developing a culture, is hire on attitude, train on skill. And at the end of the day, like I said, treating the team the best. And then by default, they will treat the customers, clients, patients very well because they know that they're secure in their job, in their environment. They're looked after, they're supported, they're developed. They see a future for themselves here long term, not just in the short term. And it's not just a stepping stone. They see themselves being able to grow, and they see themselves as a valuable part of the community, of the business, and they see a future role for them, not just now. I know it might sound weird. Treat people like responsible adults. At the end of the day, everyone here's got a degree and they should be treated like adults. I don't have the time, the energy, or the want to do any micromanaging. I know that some facilities may want to do that, and that's probably going to come down from the owner and then be pushed along. But at the end of the day, I don't really have the time or the energy to micromanage everyone. So just treat people like responsible adults and let them do their job. Everyone's a professional, just to give them the framework of what you're trying to achieve as a business. I think some level of transparency has helped the culture from my point of view. So they see what I'm doing. I'm just not in the back working on unknown things on the computer. They know what we're doing and who we're trying to help and what we're trying to achieve as a company, as individuals, as a business, really, at the end of the day. First to know, first to handle. So if something comes up and someone's told or seen something, or needs to action something, you don't need my permission. And it's something that I've always looked at. Like, again, it comes down to the micromanaging. I don't want to, I don't need to, and hired people that you don't need to anyway. And if I did, then they probably wouldn't be the right fit for the team if I felt like that's what needed to happen. But we're all good in that aspect anyway. First to know, first to handle. So each person here, each EP here has the ability to make executive decisions based on the framework of obviously what we're trying to achieve and sort of make an individual call of what's going to support that client and whether we can achieve it or not and how to achieve it at the end of the day. So they can, if they see something that needs action, well, you're more than welcome to just action it yourself. You don't need permission. It's almost like it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission to do something. And I've told them that, and hopefully that doesn't bite me in the ass, but it hasn't just yet. But we'll see. So first to know, first handle, treat people like responsible adults. I know that's a weird one, but not every business does. And I think it's important. Any of our KPIs, I guess you would call them, any of our goals are all team-based goals. So I don't really like using the word KPIs because it sounds like, you're treating everyone like a number, and it's certainly not the case. But the goals as a business, how many people do we want to help? What sort of growth can we do? What sort of staff can we do? How many jobs can we provide? All of these types of things. So it's all a team approach. So nobody has individual targets as far as what we're trying to do, how many people we're really trying to support, how many people's goals we're trying to achieve at the end of the day. It's really about how many and what we can do as a team. So one wins and we all win. Nobody has individual targets as far as that level of support because you can't control if somebody reschedules, somebody cancels. It's not really the fault of the practitioner on the day. That's me at the end of the day. Or it just can be one of those things that just comes up. But ultimate responsibility for the whole operations comes down to me. So it's not on any individual to be responsible for someone canceling, rescheduling, because things happen, weather changes, someone gets sick or life happens. So we just want to make sure that it's not any individual responsibility. It's no detriment to that team member. It's obviously not ideal, but things happen. So we just want to make sure that we address it. Most of them don't even need to be addressed because people reschedule, cancel, move to another day, whatever it may be. Often enough, it's common, it's normal. And we get a lot of people booking in as well. So all of these things are normal part of business, part of allied health. So all our goals are team-based because we all want to win together. So it's not what's mine is mine, what's yours is yours. It's all, this is all ours, so to speak, if I can use that. So I set it from the outset and make sure, okay, that's what we want to achieve. This is the framework of how Fit Clinic operates. Now you go and be a responsible adult making executive decisions within that framework and go. And it's worked so far so well. And we're still moving forward and growing. So consider the services you want to provide. There is a saying, under promise and over deliver, but I think that's a bit shit, I'll be honest. Because why are you under promising? Just deliver what you say you're going to do. Because if you're under promising, then people might not see the value in what you're doing if you're say you're going to do less. It's great that you end up doing more, but why don't you just say what you're going to do and then do it? I think that'd be a hell of a lot easier. No, and looking at, okay, what space and availability do you have to provide those extra little touches to your clients? Like, we don't do as much coffee anymore for clients, but we've got a coffee machine that we use for staff. It's in our kitchen. So I've had a few clients that just going, oh, they've learned how to use it and they just make themselves a coffee before. I'm feeling like coffee. Okay, we'll make you one. No worries. It's kind of part of the extra services. Those things that they're really small details, but clients love it. They're happy. They're all good. Obviously, we don't want to make it a thing that we're just providing every client with a coffee, but it's just those sort of little touches that work well with some people and making sure that they feel cared for and they are cared for. And that's the important thing moving forward because a successful allied health clinic doesn't need the best equipment. It doesn't need the best stuff because most of the places with the highest level of tech, the highest things are the places that are not really attended that much. The lowest percentage of people go compared to those that are signed up. And I'm talking about 24/7 gyms. Here, there's a high number of people that are signed up to them, but many of them don't go, even though they might have access to all the equipment, all the resources, the highest level of tech, the highest level of investment in the facility. But people want to see people and they want to feel cared for. And the 24/7 model works for a lot of people, but it also doesn't work for a lot of other people. So we don't have the best of everything. We can't compete as far as our equipment compared to a 24/7 model. We don't have a machine that does everything, but we have people and they feel cared for. And I think that's the important thing. So if you're an owner, an operator, dropping the ego and just letting your team be professional and do what they have. So, because it's not about you at the end of the day. It's not about me at the end of the day. It's about what the clients feel, what the customers feel, what the members feel, and how they are cared for and they feel cared for. Because at the end of the day, you need to lead by example because people aren't really going to remember mostly what you do for them in the long term, but they're going to remember how they felt. So I think that's the important step. They won't remember what you did, but they'll remember how they felt. And if we can finish up on that note, I think that's a good way to end it. So consider your culture that you're setting up, set it from the outset, and you'll be able to build your community and turn into a successful business if you do really well at it.
You've just listened to another episode of Phys Biz. If you've got some value out of the content, make sure that you like, share, follow, or subscribe. Until next time.